Welcome to the EOB podcast. I am Ben No, and joining me is Sen Duong. We're here to talk about the weekend box office, so let's begin. So Sen,
Okay, so what were our predictions last week?
well, we'll get to that, but a couple more of this, and I think people will begin to think that I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. We don't know what we're talking about. No one knows what they're talking about.
Right. So you were right in saying that it's gonna be a slow weekend at the box office. People were out spending time, with their kids, trick-or-treating, or just partying in general.
Yep.
So they stayed home or went to other people's home instead of going to the theaters. So that resulted in a weak box office all around.
Yeah. Well, I read that they say this is one of the when Halloween falls on a Friday,
Mm-hmm.
studios know that it's going to be a bad weekend, and so they usually plan ahead of time. They put out they don't put their big releases out during the week when Halloween falls on a Friday.
Right.
So
So I guess that's why we have Nightcrawler and Before I Go to Sleep and a re-release of Saw.
yeah, exactly. But I'm kind of surprised that Nightcrawler even did the kind of business it did. It was almost number one. Sure, it only made
Well, when it's around 10 million, then yeah, that's not really an achievement, right?
yeah. I guess it depends on the budget. I think it wasn't a very high budgeted movie.
True. But you were right though. You said it will make like probably below 10 million,
Hmm.
and that is gonna come in number one, which is close,
Yeah,
which is
close,
almost
yeah,
there. I mean,
yeah.
and it actually made uh
10.4 million.
10.4 million.
And I'm surprised by the reviews, but I guess in hindsight, maybe not. Jake Gyllenhaal has always been a a guy who picks uh, decent movies, and Nightcrawler has
Hmm.
93% on the tomato meter, which makes it
Hmm.
one of the best reviewed films of the year so far.
Well, true, but then again, it opened on, Halloween night
I know. Yeah,
when everyone is everywhere else except in theaters.
yeah.
So
But
it doesn't matter how well reviewed it is. I mean, maybe it'll bring home some awards, but I don't think the studio exec care about that.
well, I think I'm just saying it as as hey, it's a good movie.
Right.
I'm surprised that it was so well reviewed.
Hmm.
Um, I guess what they made, um, I guess when you read about the premise of the movie, it is a challenging film, and I guess the fact that they made 10.4 million is, an achievement for, a film that's not very, it doesn't have mass appeal.
Well, that is true, but then again, we don't know if it is because of the movie or it is because that it landed on Halloween night,
You mean
on Halloween weekend.
the success of it, or
No,
the
the
success?
like the 10.4 million opening.
You mean like if it landed on any other night, it would have done better, or if it did?
Yes, we don't know that, but apparently, I mean, probably not, right? Because like Saturday and Sunday, it should have an uptick, but it did not, right?
Um, I'm I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not sure. Did they have an uptick on Saturday?
I don't think so because let's see, it made let's see, Friday.
I would think every one of them would have an uptick on Saturday because Friday is a Halloween.
Right. It did have an uptick on Saturday, except but then Sunday it dropped.
Well, that's usual though.
You know. Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
usual thing though. It always drops. The best day is always Saturday.
Hmm,
Second
hmm.
best day is Friday, and then
Right.
Sunday it drops.
Right, right. But you expect it, like if it's really the Halloween effect, right? You would expect that it would make more on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, it did make more on Saturday though, and
Hmm.
it falls under the normal the regular the way things are at the box office because the number one day at the box office during the weekend is always Saturday, then
Okay.
Friday, and then Sunday. And when you look at it, it's about right, and it did get
Mm.
a from Friday it did get a 46%
Mm.
increase from Friday, so it's not
Yeah,
too bad, you know.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
But
not too bad.
still, okay. Let's. We forgot to mention the number one movie, which is Ouija.
Yeah.
Made
Well,
10.9 million
yeah, decent
over the weekend.
hope. Yeah, decent hope for the.
Yes.
But I guess it is Halloween, so I guess it's not uh, people all in the mood to watch horror movies.
Well, true, but then what happened to Saw? You know.
Well, it's a re-release of a 10-year-old movie.
I know, but then a couple of people, I bet I haven't seen it, so
Well, yeah, a couple, but it's been around on video for so long. I would think, you know,
true, but they released
it
one of
would be
these
like
little.
super hardcore horror fans, super hardcore horror fans would go and
Uh,
watch it in theaters.
true, true, true.
Everyone else, they either saw it or they own the DVD, and
Right, right, right,
they can catch it on Netflix. Who
right,
knows?
right.
Um, but despite Halloween, most of the films have a pretty steady hold over the weekend. Most films, only drop by about 20%, 30%,
Yeah,
40.
yeah, true. Yeah, true. But no big gigantic openings, which is like
Yeah,
20 million plus.
yeah, right,
Um,
right.
so 10 million, around there for the number one and number two movies.
Yeah, not a big weekend.
None,
True.
none, none, none. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's. We're done with Nightcrawler and Ouija.
Yeah. Let's go
Okay.
to Fury.
Yeah, yeah. Next up is Fury. It's holding out well. 9.1 million. If it made
Yeah,
a bit more, it could, take the number one or number two spot.
yeah. A
Well,
decent hole. But I think
mhm.
I think Reacher will drop off quickly after this weekend, though.
Oh, that's what we said, but then it ended up being number one.
Yeah, so we'll see next week. But
I,
this,
I, I think it will, because next week has like Interstellar
oh,
and Big Hero 6,
Stellar.
which we will get to.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're pretty sure it'll drop.
yeah.
Okay, moving on to Gone Girl, still doing
Uh,
decent. Number four, 8.8 million.
well, let's get back to Fury for a little bit.
Okay, sure.
So far it's made 60.4 million, and looks like it's gonna, by the way, it's holding up. Its budget is 68 million. Looks like it'll eventually, they'll probably make, 80, even it might even close in on 90 million.
Hmm?
And for a movie with that subject matter, I think it's a decent size hit.
Yeah, it'll do okay. I mean, it has some staying power.
Yeah, and it's well reviewed, so I
Yeah.
feel like it's a pretty good, a solid win for Brad Pitt. How's that?
Sure, sure, sure.
Well
It's no
reviewed
World War
film,
Z, but
but not only is it well reviewed, it's doing decent bits at the box office.
right, right, and hopefully he gets to bring home some trophies. I guess.
Yeah, right,
I think that's the intention right here.
right. All right, now Gone Girl,
Oh, Gone Girl, yes. Yeah.
20%. Holding up really well.
Yep, yep.
136 million. We'll see how if it just continues to chug along.
I think it will. It's probably one of those movies where you might not like it at first, but then you start hearing more and more about it because it stayed in theaters, and as more people see it, they will say, "Hey, this movie's pretty good." So, and then you will, check it out as well.
Yeah,
Word of mouth.
yeah. Word of mouth Yep.
Hmm.
You know, I think the way they sold it is interesting. They didn't give anything away, and so a lot of people that allows for word of mouth to grow
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
because you watch the trailer and you think you're getting a certain type of movie, and then you go in and you got something that's just you know blows that trailer out. You
And
know,
a nice thing they did was that they changed. I think they changed the ending from the book. So if you read the book, there's something for you there as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's not exactly like the book. So there'll be some surprises.
yeah. What I read that's interesting is um, Gone Girl is one of the few successful films
Hmm.
where the author of the original novel actually also wrote the screenplay.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I wrote an interesting article saying in most of those cases the films fail. And it's interesting because they say people who are good at writing books, it might be a good book, but but when they have the talents to write a book, but when it comes to the screenplay, what makes a good book might not make a good movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because like movies have its own beat.
Yeah, they have its
Yeah.
own beat, and a lot of times, they say that authors are so I guess so attached to the materials in the
Hmm.
book that they want to fit everything into the movie.
Right, right.
But a lot of times it's hard for them to cut out things so that
Mm-hmm.
the movie is more focused, and and this is interestingly, they say this is one of the few uh, 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 adaptations that
Mm-hmm.
successful adaptations where the author of the
Mm-hmm.
original source material also wrote the screenplay.
Yeah. Or I think that this author is actually a good screenwriter as well. I mean, there are some writers who just know how to write one way, you know,
Yeah,
and then they couldn't change gears and to write another to write another way.
yeah, yeah. And I think the
So,
author mentioned
right.
how um, she had to learn to let things go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Basically, learn to cut off a lot of the stuff in the book that doesn't fit into the focus of the film.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like a different craft almost.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was interesting that
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
and that was it's going to be probably the front runner for Oscars. Because it's
Yes.
doing so well and it's so well reviewed and and it's still chugging along.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be surprised if anyone can take it from Gone Girl. Actually, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's my favorite right now to win.
right.
But
And
we'll see. We'll
last week
see.
I was yeah. Go ahead.
No, no. So I said we'll see. But
Yeah. Last week I was saying how it looks like it might be one of those films that'll chug along until it
mm-hmm,
makes
mm-hmm.
200 million, and the
Yeah.
way is the way it's going, it might actually get to 200 million.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Possibly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Another thing. And speaking of like authors writing their own screenplay, J.K. Rowling doing
yeah.
fantastic feats and where to find them. And she's gonna write screenplay for all three movies. It's gonna be broken up into three parts,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see how she does.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
um, yeah, but I suspect that she's gonna have help with the screenplay. Even though that she's doing the initial part right now,
Yeah.
I suspect she's gonna have some help, maybe some uncredited help.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see how that
right,
goes.
right. Okay, moving
Book of
on.
Life.
Okay, Book of Life. 8.3 million.
17% drop.
Yeah, this is holding.
Well, again, it's Halloween. I attribute it to Halloween.
Hmm.
It's holding on. Looks like it'll make back its budget and a little
Hmm.
bit more.
Hmm. Hmm.
But again, I'm curious to see how it does next week. when Big Hero 6 comes out and Halloween is over.
Right, right, right. I think, like, again, this is a special time because of the Halloween, and there's not a lot of options. Studios
Mhm.
or seems to be avoiding this date.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and the benefit of the and like movies like Book of Life, gets to the benefit of that decision. Um, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Number six, John Wick.
Um.
Keanu Reeves. It didn't do as well as we expected to.
Mhm.
A
But
kick-ass old school, action movie.
yeah,
Um,
you know what? A 44% drop isn't too bad.
yeah, but it didn't start off well. You know.
Yeah. And so far it's made 27.6
hmm
million, which is
hmm
for low budget
Right,
action
right.
isn't too bad. I mean, it looks like it might have a chance to do 40, 50 million, and if it makes it to 50 million, I think they would consider it a success.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, but for someone of Keanu Reeves, cachet, you expect him to draw in more, to do better.
Uh, well, but he hasn't been a
Mm.
big draw lately though.
Hmm.
And this isn't a $100 million movie.
Right, right. You
No,
know
it's a
what?
low budget Lionsgate movie,
Right,
kind of
right.
like a Jason Statham. You know, it's Jason Statham territory. So if it makes you know 25 to 40 million range, Lionsgate would be jumping up and down. And
Hmm.
this looks like it'll make 40 to 50, and I think
Yeah.
if it makes it to 50, I think Lionsgate would probably sanction sequels.
I don't
Crank, Crank got a sequel. It only made 25 million at the box
know. Yeah,
office.
yes, but you're talking about Jason Statham.
Yes, and
He'll do
Lionsgate.
anything for money. I'm not sure if Keanu Reeves will return for this one, so I think this is it.
I'm not sure. I think it's one of those films that are kind of set up that way,
Hmm.
set up as it's kind of set up as one of those origin stories.
Yeah, but I'm sure every movie has that kind of setup just in case.
Well, not every.
Hmm.
Well, I'm not sure, right? But like some movies, the way they end it, the way it begins, kind of like the Equalizer.
Right.
In a way, the Equalizer and John Wick are very similar films,
Hmm.
and they're kind of both set up that way, where it's set up to have sequels.
Right, right.
Maybe not as much as the Equalizer, but I feel like in a way it's kind of set up
Okay.
similarly.
Okay. Let me put it this way. If Keanu Reeves is really trying to look for work, yes, there will be a sequel. But if not, then I don't think so.
Yeah, well,
He's not a sequel guy.
yeah, he's not a sequel